Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into Health Catalyst's latest quarterly report, their financial health checkup. It might sound like a snooze fest, but trust me, there's some juicy stuff here, like a financial roller coaster involving debt and some accounting magic. Before we begin this deep dive, if you enjoy getting clear insights from complicated company reports, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, come join our Discord channel, the link is in the description, to chat with others about finance. This report covers Health Catalyst's performance up to March of 2025. Health Catalyst, if you don't know, is a company that provides data and analytics to healthcare organizations. They help hospitals and clinics make better decisions using data. So let's find out how they did. First, let's peek at their balance sheet. It's a snapshot of what the company owns and what it owes. Cash is king, and Health Catalyst seems to be doing pretty well. Their cash and cash equivalents jumped to $342 million, up from $250 million at the end of last year. That's a sizable increase, meaning they have more liquid assets. In simple words, they have more money in the bank to spend. Interestingly, their short-term investments, which are like slightly less accessible savings accounts, completely disappeared, going from $142 million to zero. They probably needed the money from these investments and moved it to cash. Accounts receivable, money owed to them by customers, also went up a bit to $64 million. It could be a good sign as it means they sold more stuff, but it could be a bad sign if it means that their clients are slow in paying them. A number to keep your eye on is deferred revenue. This represents payments they have received for work they haven't yet done. It's like an IOU. This number is up a lot, going to $71 million from $53 million at the end of last year. This is very positive because Health Catalyst have client contracts they're obligated to deliver on over the coming months. Now let's check out the condensed consolidated statements of operations. It measures the performance of the company. Their revenue is broken into two categories, technology and professional services. Technology revenue primarily comes from subscriptions. Think of it as ongoing fees clients pay to use Health Catalyst's fancy data tools. Professional services revenue is for their team of experts helping clients understand and use the data. Technology brought in $51 million in revenue for the quarter, up about 10%. Not bad. Professional services revenue was basically flat at $27.9 million. That's not the end of the world, but it does mean the company couldn't scale this area. But here's where things take a turn. They actually had big interest expense of $3.3 million, while a year ago they actually made money of $2.3 million. That's a big negative swing, and mostly because of their debts. All of this culminates in a net loss of $23.7 million. Still, a loss is not great, even if it's a little worse than last year's $20.6 million. Their loss per share, which is how much money they lost for each share that is out there, is 35 cents, unchanged from last year. Finally, the cash flow statement, this tracks the actual money coming in and out of the company. Net cash from operations, which is the amount of cash a company generates from the normal day-to-day activities, was basically zero, while last year they actually made $10 million. Yikes. Investing activities, which is when the company is buying and selling stuff, brought in $96 million. This is mainly from selling short-term investments, as we mentioned before. Financing activities, the money raised by stock, loans, and so on, went the other way. A negative of $4.7 million, which means they spent more than they received in financing. Overall, though, they ended up with $92 million more cash than last year, which is really good. It seems like Health Catalyst is on an acquisition spree, buying other companies to expand their capabilities. For example, the report mentions they completed the purchase of Upfront Healthcare Services, Inc., and there are some intangible assets that are difficult to value, like client relationships, which the company values at $11.7 million. What is more difficult to value is goodwill, which is the premium they paid for Upfront that they recognize as 52 company values at $11.7 million. What is more difficult to value is goodwill, which is the premium they paid for Upfront that they recognize as $52.9 million, but could disappear if Upfront doesn't meet its targets. A lot of this goodwill is attributed to their technology segment. Keep in mind, goodwill can disappear if the acquired companies don't perform well, so it is always good to take with a grain of salt. As part of these acquisitions, they have to pay people that come from the company, and those payments are adjustments to the price to be paid. In other words, they have to account for how much they paid to those people separately and reduce the price that was initially agreed. And in the first quarter, they spent $8.5 million on those stock-based payments. There is also contingent consideration. This is money that only will be paid if a business that Health Catalyst acquired meet its targets. Health Catalyst uses significant unobservable inputs, or what I call guessing, to estimate what they will owe in the future. That number is currently over $7 million million. Their predictions depend on complex computer modeling to arrive at the targets they need to pay out. Moving on, Health Catalyst leases office space. Some of their older leases are expiring, and we can see that they are earning money from renting it to other companies. Now let's move on to something important, debt. Health Catalyst has a fair bit of debt, about $382 million worth, of which a large chunk, about $230 million, are convertible notes. What that means is that the people who lent the money could choose to be paid back in cash or shares of the company. Since that debt is coming due this year, it's considered a short-term liability, meaning it has to be paid off soon. Next, in financing activities, employees bought stock from the company, and the company repurchased 1.1 M shares. Here are the risks of the company. The healthcare data market is very competitive, and if Health Catalyst can't keep up, it could hurt them. If the healthcare industry changes a lot, it could hurt their business. They may not be able to execute their strategies and plans. The economy may be bad. For example, they might not have enough staff, and public health crises could hurt their business. If clients aren't happy with their services, the business could be impacted. If clients don't renew their contracts, they might not make as much money. If the company has cyber attacks and cybersecurity issues, that will have negative impacts. If third parties block their access to data, the effectiveness of their solution will be limited. If the company fails to meet analyst estimates, their stock price may go down. The company has debt, and that could hurt their business. Their pricing strategies may change, which affects ability to attract or retain clients. If the company is associated with bad information, faulty decisions, and lawsuits, they could be exposed to litigation. If the company has problems relying on third-party services such as Azure, their business will be negatively impacted. If the internet is interrupted, their business could have problems as well. If their clients don't get the right approvals, this could also expose them to claims and hurt their business call the interesting details in the document. Now, taking a broader look, Health Catalyst appears to be at a crossroads. They have a decent amount of cash in hand, but they have increasing debt and will probably need to address that. Their tech revenue is growing, but their professional services seem stagnant. They need to get the professional services segment to perform. Their increasing reliance on debt is concerning, and I don't think the market is fully appreciating it. They need to be careful with it. And if a black swan event happens, that might really hurt them. I personally think the stock is overvalued. It should be closer to the range of $3 to $4. Alright, that's our breakdown of Health Catalyst's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.